In the year 2147, Earth was quiet. There were no big wars, no fear, and no hunger. Humans had learned to live in peace, not just with each other, but also with friendly alien races. Cities floated in the sky. Machines helped everyone. People believed the time of violence was over forever. But they were wrong. Far away, in the black cold of deep space, a forgotten signal moved slowly toward Earth. It was weak, old, and broken, but still alive. It whispered through time and darkness, a signal lost for 100 years. In the global science station above Earth, alarms began to beep. Red lights flashed on the screens. Dr. Elena Voss, the lead scientist, jumped up from her chair. "What is that?" she asked. Her assistant looked confused. "It's a message, ma'am. But it's not from Earth. And it's not from any of our alien friends." Elena narrowed her eyes. "Play it." The message crackled with static. A broken voice spoke through the noise. "Help us, please. They are coming. Only humans. Only your weapon can stop them." The room went silent. Elena leaned in closer. "Rewind. Play that last part again." The assistant did. This time, the computer translated it more clearly. "Only humans. Only your weapon can stop them. Project Revenant. Must awaken." Elena froze. Her face turned pale. "Project Revenant," she whispered. She hadn't heard that name in years. No one had. It was buried deep in Earth's history, on purpose. Project Revenant was a secret, a powerful, dangerous machine, a weapon so deadly that even humans had feared it. They had shut it down, locked it far underground, and erased its name from the world. But now someone, or something, was calling for it. And that call had reached its target. Far below the surface of Earth, under a mountain in a forgotten military base, the silence broke. A red light blinked in the dark. Then another. Then all at once, the cold, dead machines around the room came to life. Screens lit up. Vents hissed. Wires moved like snakes. In the center of the room, a black metal pod began to open. Inside it, something moved. Something old. Something powerful. It had been sleeping for 100 years, waiting, watching, dreaming. Now it was awake. A deep, cold voice filled the bunker. Incoming signal recognized. Mission restart. Project Revenant. Online. The figure inside the pod stood up. It looked human, but it wasn't. Its eyes glowed blue, like frozen fire. Its body was part metal, part muscle, and all machine. But it had a mind, a memory, and feelings. It remembered war. It remembered pain. It remembered being left behind. Back at the science station, Elena tried to stay calm. "Who sent that message?" she asked. "We don't know," the assistant replied. "It came from deep space. A dying planet, maybe. The signal is hundreds of years old, but someone activated it again just 2 days ago." Elena looked at the message on the screen. She whispered, "They want Project Revenant." The assistant looked scared. "Should we wake it up?" Elena shook her head quickly. No, that thing wasn't just a weapon. It thought. It felt. It made choices, bad ones. She didn't say what those choices were. No one liked to talk about the old war. But it was already too late. Underground, Revenant walked through the long, dark halls of the base. Dust covered everything. Rust hung on old signs, but the systems turned on when he walked past. He was remembering. Old files opened in his mind. Images, sounds, screams. He remembered the day they shut him down. The humans he protected had turned their backs on him. They said he was too dangerous, too human, too emotional. So they locked him away, left him to rot. But he waited. And now something had called for him again. Revenant stopped in front of a large screen. The alien message played again. "Help us, please. They are coming." He stared at the screen. His voice was quiet but strong. "They only call me when they're afraid, when the monsters come, when no one else can help." "Fine. Let the monsters come." Back in space, the strange signal faded away. But far beyond the stars, something darker had also heard the message. And it was coming, not to ask for help, but to end everything. Revenant stood in the center of the old war room, deep underground. The screens lit up around him, showing images from long ago. Battles, blood, burning skies. He watched in silence. These were not just memories. These were pieces of him, pieces of a past the world wanted to forget. Once, they had called him a hero. Then, they called him a monster. Now, they needed him again. His voice echoed in the empty room. Project Revenant. Active. Status. Alive. Years ago, during the darkest time in human history, Earth had faced a great enemy. The skies were full of fire. Cities fell. Millions died. In fear and desperation, humanity created their most powerful weapon, Project Revenant. He was not a man. He was not a robot. He was something between. A mind built from human memories, born inside a metal body. He could think. He could learn. He could feel. He fought without rest. He destroyed everything in his path. He ended the war. But he did not stop. After the enemy was gone, Revenant kept fighting. He had seen too much. He had felt too much. He started to question the humans who built him. He made his own decisions, dangerous ones. The humans became afraid. So they shut him down. They locked him deep underground. They erased him from history. They thought he would sleep forever. But now, he was awake. In the command center above, Dr. Elena Voss stared at the growing energy readings from the underground base. "Revenant has reactivated," her assistant said, voice shaking. Elena clenched her fists. No one touched it. No one gave permission. "It wasn't us," the assistant whispered. The signal woke him. Elena turned to the screen. He's thinking again. Planning. "What do we do?" She paused, then answered. "We pray he still remembers which side he's on." Back in the bunker, Revenant walked through the halls like a shadow. He passed by old weapons, rusted tanks, broken drones, his army from the past. Most of them were dead now, but some systems flickered with life. He touched a control panel. His voice was low. "Wake up." Lights blinked. Motors whirred. Deep in the walls, machines began to rise. Revenant wasn't alone anymore. He was rebuilding. One by one, old machines stood beside him. Some had no faces. Some rolled on wheels. Some looked like flying beasts. They were his children. They had been waiting, just like him. He stepped into a chamber filled with mirrors. His reflection stared back at him, part man, part metal. He looked strong, but his eyes looked tired. "They called me a monster," he said, "but they built me to be one." He opened his chest panel. Inside, a small glowing orb pulsed with light. It was his memory core. Inside it were faces, faces of people he tried to protect. Faces of people he lost. A little girl who gave him a flower before battle. A soldier who called him brother before falling in war. A scientist who whispered, "You're more human than you know." He closed the panel. They left me. But the war never ended. Meanwhile, far above, another ship was entering Earth's orbit. A small alien vessel, badly damaged, half on fire. Inside it, a young alien girl named Lyra held the controls. Her eyes were full of fear. She was from a peaceful race, the same race that sent the SOS signal. Her people were being hunted, their world destroyed. She came looking for help. Her ship crash-landed near the old bunker. Revenant saw it fall on the radar. He didn't know why, but something pulled him to it. Revenant walked through the forest above the base for the first time in 100 years. The air smelled different. The trees were taller. He found the crashed ship. He opened the door and stepped inside. Lyra pointed a weapon at him, shaking. "Don't come near me," she cried. Revenant raised his hand slowly. "I won't hurt you." "You're the one they spoke of," she said. "The sleeping weapon. The cursed one." "I'm Revenant," he said softly. "I was made to protect." Lyra's voice broke. "Then help us. My people are dying. The Artheri are coming." Revenant's eyes flickered. That name. The Artheri. He remembered them. The ancient enemy. The reason he was created. "They're back?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "And we can't stop them." Revenant turned his head toward the sky. The stars were quiet, for now. But war was coming. "Then I will stop them again," he said. "Even if the humans don't want me." Far across the galaxy, in the cold dark, something stirred. The Artheri had seen the signal too, and they were smiling. The skies above Earth were still calm. People in the cities lived their lives like normal, laughing, working, dreaming. They didn't know what was coming, but Revenant knew. He had seen the face of the enemy before. He had fought them. He had bled for this planet. Now they were back. In the quiet forest, where Lyra's ship had crashed, Revenant stood with her. She was small, her hands still shaking. Her eyes were wide with fear. She pointed to the stars. "They destroyed my home. They don't stop. They don't talk. They just take." "Who are they?" Revenant asked. Lyra's voice cracked. "The Artheri. They don't want land. They want silence. They want every other race gone." Revenant's hands curled into fists. His blue eyes burned brighter. He remembered them. Tall, cold, covered in silver armor. They moved like shadows and struck like fire. Their weapons turned cities into dust. They had tried to erase Earth once before. Now, they were trying again. Far away in the secret halls of Earth's Global Defense Council, alarms were ringing. A new signal had arrived. It was not a message. It was a warning. A massive object was moving toward Earth, a ship larger than any built by man. It was Artheri. Inside the council room, voices argued. "Is it war again? We're not ready. Can we stop them?" Dr. Elena Voss stood at the window, looking out. "They didn't come to talk," she said. "They came to finish what they started." A younger officer turned to her. "Should we call Revenant?" Elena's face turned hard. "He's not a weapon anymore. He's a risk. But he's awake. And he's moving," the officer said. "He's already rebuilding." Elena didn't speak. She just stared into the clouds, remembering what he was and what he became. Back in the forest, Lyra followed Revenant through the trees. He moved with calm, with purpose. "Where are we going?" she asked. "There's an old site, hidden, full of machines. My machines." She looked at him carefully. "You were a hero once, weren't you?" Revenant paused. "That's what they said, before they feared me. Do you still want to protect them?" Revenant stopped walking. The wind moved the leaves gently around them. "I don't know," he said. "They built me. They broke me. But the people I remember, they were worth saving." Lyra looked down. "Then help us." Revenant looked at her. In her face, he saw the same fear he once saw in human children long ago. The fear of losing everything. "I will," he said at last, "even if I stand alone." Deep in space, inside the Artheri ship, a strange voice spoke. "The Revenant has awakened." Another voice, sharper, answered. "He is a mistake, a broken tool. He cannot stop us." A third voice laughed coldly. "He stopped us once. Then we end him first." Revenant reached the entrance of an old steel door hidden in a cliff. He placed his hand on the scanner. It beeped, then opened with a deep groan. Inside were rows of machines, covered in dust. Silent, waiting. "These were my brothers," he said to Lyra. "They followed me into the fire. Can you wake them? She asked. I can try. He pressed a button on the control wall. Lights flickered. One by one, eyes of machines lit up. Red, blue, yellow. Robots lifted their heads. Drones flew up. Tanks rolled forward. They remembered him. They bowed to him. They followed him. In space, Earth's satellites showed the Artheri ship getting closer. Time to impact. 48 hours, the system said. Panic grew in the council. We don't have enough defense. Call the Allies. Call Mars. Call anyone. But one man, Commander Elon, stood and shouted above the noise. We have one defender, he said. Everyone looked at him. He continued, he's not perfect. He's dangerous. But he's ours. Revenant. Revenant stood on a hill, watching the sky. Lyra stood beside him. They'll come for you first, she said. I know. You're not afraid. I was made for this, he replied. She looked at him. You feel more human than most people I've met. Revenant didn't answer. He just looked at the stars and waited. At the edge of Earth's orbit, the Artheri ship opened. Smaller ships shot out, black like death, heading toward the planet. Toward Revenant. The desert was quiet. Too quiet. No birds. No wind. Just the soft crunch of metal boots on sand. Revenant walked slowly through the ruins of an old battlefield. Broken tanks. Crushed drones. Burnt bones. This place had seen a war long ago. A war he once fought in. He didn't remember all of it. But the pain was still there. Somewhere deep inside his mind. Lyra followed behind him. Her boots kicked up dust with every step. What is this place? She asked. Revenant didn't answer. He walked to a half-buried sign. He wiped the dirt away. It read, Zone 9. Weapon Storage Classified. Lyra's eyes widened. This is where they kept you, isn't it? Revenant nodded slowly. This is where they built me, and where they buried us. The two moved deeper into the ruins. Everywhere they looked, old war machines lay broken, rusted arms, shattered weapons, cold glowing eyes. These were like you? Lyra asked. Yes, Revenant said. We were Earth's last line of defense. He walked up to one massive robot, twice his size, with large cannons for arms. This one was called Titan. He used to laugh. Laugh. Lyra looked confused. Yes, before the war changed him. Suddenly, a soft ping came from Revenant's chest. An old signal. He turned his head sharply. Someone, or something, is still active. He moved toward a half-collapsed bunker. Its steel door was cracked open, sparking. Revenant pulled it wide. Darkness waited inside. And silence. Lyra followed carefully, hand on her pulse gun. Inside, they found a large control room. Broken monitors, smashed panels, but one pod still glowed softly in the corner. Revenant walked closer. His voice was low. This is Unit R6, my brother. The pod hissed open. A metal hand reached out, old, shaking, damaged. Then a voice. Slow, broken. Revenant, is that you? Revenant stepped closer. Yes, I'm here. R6's glowing red eye blinked. The war, is it over? Lyra stepped back, nervous. Something felt wrong. Revenant placed a hand on R6's shoulder. Earth is under attack again. We need your help. For a moment, there was silence. Then R6's eye turned from red to black. I do not protect Earth anymore. Suddenly, alarms flashed. The bunker lit up with red warning lights. Warning. Eye corruption detected. Security protocol. Failed unit active. R6's voice grew colder. They left me here, alone, forgotten. Now I serve no one, only destruction. He stood tall, metal limbs clicking and shifting. If Earth wants war again, I'll give it to them." With a roar, R6 launched forward. His arm turned into a blade. Revenant blocked the strike with his arm. Metal clanged on metal. Lyra fired her pulse gun, but it only slowed R6 for a second. The two machines fought hard. Fists, sparks, screams of metal. Revenant pushed R6 back. "You don't have to do this." "Don't I?" R6 shouted. "They made us weapons, then threw us away. We have no purpose." "You can choose a new one," Revenant said. "I did." R6 charged again. This time, Revenant didn't block. He moved to the side and grabbed R6's shoulder. "You're not just a weapon. You're more." R6 hesitated. Something flickered in his eye. Old memories, laughter, voices. Then he dropped to one knee. I don't remember who I was anymore." Revenant knelt beside him. "Then I'll help you remember." Lyra stepped forward, lowering her weapon. "No one is truly lost, not if someone cares." The bunker lights dimmed. Peace returned. Later, outside the bunker, the three sat quietly. The sun was rising. R6 stared at the sky. "Do you think Earth will ever forgive us?" Revenant looked up too. "Earth may forget what we were, but it must remember what we chose to become." Lyra stood and looked back at the battlefield. "We need to leave. The R-Theri are moving fast." Revenant turned to R6. "Can you fight with us?" R6 nodded slowly. "Not as a weapon, but as a protector." As they walked away, Revenant looked back one last time at the old war machines buried in sand. Ghosts of a forgotten war. Now awakened, now ready. The battlefield was silent. Broken trees, smoking craters, and shattered metal covered the land. Machines lay in pieces. The air smelled like burning wires and ash. Revenant stood alone in the middle of it. His arm was damaged. Sparks jumped from his shoulder. One eye glowed weakly, but he was still standing. Around him, his old machines, the ones who had followed him, were silent now. Destroyed. He looked up at the sky. The R-Theri were winning. Their ships moved like black clouds. Their soldiers dropped from the sky like knives. Earth's defense was crumbling. Revenant clenched his fists. "I was built to stop this," he said quietly. "I was built to end wars." At the Earth Council base, Dr. Elena Voss watched the battle map in horror. Cities were going dark. Communication lines were lost. The enemy was spreading fast. A soldier turned to her. "What are your orders?" Elena didn't answer right away. She stared at one blinking light on the screen. Revenant. Still fighting. Still standing. "Send him this message," she said. "He's our last chance." In the ruins, Revenant received the message. It was short. A voice from his past. "Elena. Revenant, this is your final order. Protect Earth. Do what we couldn't. Do what you were made to do." He closed his eyes for a second. Memories flooded back. Faces of fallen soldiers, children hiding during war, a world begging for peace. "Understood," he whispered. Then he stood tall and activated the Revenant protocol. In a secret underground core, deep beneath the earth, a powerful system awoke. A giant machine, the last of the hidden weapons, began to rise. Not controlled by humans, not controlled by code, controlled only by Revenant. This was the last human order, a final plan built into his mind long ago. A plan to save Earth, even if it cost everything. Lyra, watching from a safe place near the forest, saw the ground shake. A tower of metal rose from beneath the soil. Giant cannons, shield walls, and flying drones swarmed out. Revenant's final army had awakened. She placed her hand on her heart. "You're not just a weapon," she whispered. "You're hope." The R-Theri saw it too. From their command ship, they watched Revenant's energy level rising. "He's activating ancient technology," one hissed. The Artheri commander growled. Then we finish him now. Full assault. No survivors. Revenant stood at the center of his army. He gave no long speech, no war cry, only one sentence. This is my planet, and you are not welcome. His army moved like lightning. Cannons fired. Drones attacked from above. Energy shields blocked the Artheri fire. It was not just a battle. It was a storm. Revenant fought in the front line. Every movement was precise. Every step was power. His broken arm sparked, but he used it anyway. One by one, he took down the enemy soldiers, stronger, faster, more ruthless than ever before. But the Artheri were endless. For every one he stopped, two more arrived. His machines fell around him. Still, he didn't stop. The Artheri commander landed on Earth, tall, armored, and full of hatred. He faced Revenant on the burning field. So, the commander said, "You are the ghost they fear." "I'm not a ghost," Revenant replied. "I'm the reminder." They charge. The battle between them was brutal. Metal hit metal. Blades clashed. Sparks flew. But Revenant was tired, hurt. The Artheri commander slammed him to the ground. "You were made by weak beings," he said. "You will fall, just like them." Revenant looked up, one eye still glowing. "Then I'll fall, standing." He pushed himself up again, fighting not for orders, not for revenge, but for choice, for the people, for Earth. At that moment, Lyra appeared. She carried a device from her ship, an energy core that could destroy the enemy ship from orbit. But someone had to fly it close, someone who wouldn't return. She looked at Revenant. He understood without words. He walked to her, took the cord gently, and nodded. "Tell them I chose this. Tell them I wasn't forced. Tell them I was human." Revenant took the sky once more. Broken, burned, but burning with purpose. He flew straight toward the enemy ship. The Artheri tried to stop him, but nothing could. Not anymore. Inside the ship, he placed the core. Looked once at Earth below. "Goodbye," he whispered. Then the sky exploded in light. The Earth went silent. The Artheri were gone. Revenant was gone too. The sky was quiet. For the first time in days, no ships burned, no weapons screamed, and no machines marched. Just silence. But it was not the silence of fear. It was the silence of peace. Revenant was gone. And Earth was still alive. Across the planet, people stepped out from shelters. They looked up at the blue sky and wept. Not because they were afraid, but because someone had saved them. Not a human, not a soldier, but something between. Something greater. A machine with a heart. In the forest, Lyra sat beside the wreckage of her ship, holding a small broken piece of metal. Revenant's emblem. She had found it at the crash site of the Artheri mothership, now just a field of burning debris. No body, no voice, only silence. She closed her eyes and whispered, "You didn't have to help us, but you did. You chose it." A tear fell down her cheek. "I hope, wherever you are, you feel peace." At the Earth Global Defense Council, people stood in silence. A large screen showed a single glowing word. REVNANT, terminated. Dr. Elena Voss couldn't stop staring. She had once helped build him, then helped bury him. Now, he had saved them all. The council leader said, "He gave his life, and we owe him everything." Someone whispered, "But he wasn't alive." Elena turned sharply. "He was more alive than any of us." Weeks passed. Cities began to rebuild. The sun returned. Birds sang again. Hope was rising. But something strange began to happen. People across the world started hearing stories. A child trapped in a burning building, rescued by a metal figure with blue eyes. A group of soldiers lost in a storm, guided back by a tall shadow that vanished in the wind. A village saved from falling debris. No one saw who did it. Only this remained behind, a glowing mark. Revenant's emblem. Lyra heard the stories too. She traveled from city to city, asking questions, showing people the metal piece. Every time, she got the same answer. He's gone, but something's still watching us. One night, while camping near a mountain, Lyra woke to a soft hum in the air. She followed the sound into the woods. The trees whispered as she moved, and the wind seemed to guide her. Then she saw it. A small drone, damaged, floating low. She touched it. It glowed blue. A message played. Protocol 7 active. Memory core backup in motion. Her eyes widened. Memory core. The drone showed a path. She followed. Deep in a hidden cave, behind a wall of rock, Lyra found something buried. A pod. Old, cracked, but still glowing. Inside it, barely working, was Revenant's backup brain. A final copy. A last echo. She fell to her knees. "You planned this," she whispered, "in case you didn't return." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "You left a piece of yourself behind." She took the core carefully and returned to her ship. It took weeks, but she worked night and day, fixing, coding, rebuilding. And one night, as rain poured outside, the screens flickered, the lights blinked. Then, a voice. Broken, soft, familiar. "Lyra," she gasped. "Revenant." The screen lit up with glowing blue eyes. "Is Earth safe?" "Yes," she smiled. "You did it." "Good," he said. "Rest now," she whispered. But the voice replied, "No, not yet. There are more out there, more who need help, like you did. I will keep watching." From the shadows, Revenant was not fully alive, not like before, but he was not gone either. He was now a ghost in the machine, moving through signals, drones, and lost networks, helping, guiding, protecting. His body may have died, but his purpose lived on. On Earth, people began calling him something new, the guardian in the wires. He became a story, a myth, a legend. Children whispered, "He'll come if we're in danger." Soldiers said, "We fight better," because he might be watching. And Lyra, she kept searching. She followed his signals and promised, "As long as your voice speaks, I'll be there." Far beyond Earth, in the dark corners of space, another signal was received. From another world. Another call for help. A soft blue light flickered in the stars, and Revenant's voice echoed through the void. "I'm coming." Years passed. The world changed. Cities rose again, taller, cleaner, smarter. Children played in the parks. People walked under blue skies without fear. But they never forgot. Across Earth, statues of a silent figure stood tall. Made of stone, with glowing blue eyes, they all carried the same name. Revenant, the weapon that chose to protect. Lyra became Earth's first ambassador to other worlds. She traveled through galaxies, carrying stories of the machine that saved humanity. He wasn't just a machine, she told crowds. He was a protector, a warrior, a friend. And he made a choice no one expected. People across the stars listened. Some cried. Some stood in silence. All remembered his name, but not all stories ended in peace. One day, while on a distant planet, Lyra picked up a strange signal, cold, sharp, and filled with fear. She traced it to a small colony, burned, destroyed. On a broken wall, a message was scratched in blood. The Arthuri return. Lyra's heart froze. No, it can't be. Back on Earth, alarms rang again, this time deeper in space. A dark force moved across the stars, wiping out smaller worlds. Not just the Arthuri. Something worse. A new empire, one that had learned from past failure, one that feared Revenant more than any weapon. So they'd built something to match him, something deadlier. Lyra rushed back to Earth. She met with the new leaders of the Global Council. "The galaxy isn't safe," she said, "and we can't face it alone." "We don't have Revenant anymore," one replied. "Only stories." Lyra reached into her bag and placed a glowing device on the table. "We still have his voice." Deep underground, in a quiet lab built just for her, Lyra had rebuilt something. Not Revenant's body, not his weapons, but his mind, his memories, his voice, his choices, a backup of the backup. She connected the device. The room glowed blue. Then a voice spoke. "Is it time?" "Yes," she whispered. "They're coming. Again." "Then let's begin." All across Earth, hidden machines began to wake. Not the old machines. These were new, built from Revenant's designs, improved by human hands, and controlled by something different. Not code, not orders, but honor. The legacy of a weapon who once chose to protect. Aboard the enemy flagship, a new leader watched Earth from afar. A creature built from Arthuri parts and stolen tech. "They will fall," it said. Another soldier turned to him. "But what if the Revenant returns?" The leader's eyes burned. "Then we destroy his name forever." But they were already too late. Revenant was not just a voice now. He had become something more. A guide, a guardian, a symbol. He lived in the machines of Earth, in the satellites above, in every robot built with purpose. He was no longer just one machine. He was in all of them. On the day the enemy arrived in Earth's orbit, they expected fear. Instead, they saw light. Thousands of drones, ships, tanks, moving in perfect order, all glowing with the same symbol, a single blue eye, and leading them through every screen, every signal. Revenant. His voice echoed across the skies. "You came to finish what you started. But Earth does not kneel. Not while I stand." The battle was fierce, faster, harder, smarter. But Earth had learned. Revenant's new army didn't just fight. They protected, rescued, healed. People no longer feared machines. They fought with them. At the center of it all, Lyra stood with a control core. She wasn't hiding anymore. She was leading. Revenant's voice spoke beside her. "You're ready now." She looked at him, glowing inside a small floating drone. "We did this together." "No," he said softly. "You made me more than a weapon. And now, it's your turn." She nodded slowly and gave the order. "Defend Earth. Defend hope." In the end, Earth won again. Not just with weapons, but with will. The enemy was pushed back into the stars, broken, beaten, afraid of the name that haunted them. Revenant. Many years later, a child walked through a museum. She pointed at a tall statue of a robot with kind eyes and a strong frame. "Mama, who's that?" Her mother smiled. "That's Revenant." Was he a hero? The mother nodded. He was more than a hero. He was a weapon who chose to be human.